my short introduction. Happy that so many people joined, and extremely happy that Greg accepted our invitation, and we'll talk about well, NFT is for the time being kind of the thing everybody who started to go into blockchain is talking about. Everybody is developing things, is investing in, and from my point of view, this is together with Metaverse, which we a week ago looked into, are the kind of the hottest topics, at least for me. Is that something you would share, or is there anything even hotter in this space currently? There was a question to you, Greg. I don't know if you have a view on that.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I for a moment I thought you were asking the participants. Okay. Yeah. Well, I can share. I can start talking about.
Yeah, maybe before we start, I could give a short introduction about you, and we put it in the invitation. However, maybe from your point of view, when did you hear about blockchain for the first time, and what was your intro into this interesting space?
Well, the first time was quite a long time ago. I barely remember. But in blockchain years, it's probably 100 years ago. I started. I figured I learned about Bitcoin shortly after it appeared. Of course, it's interesting technology. It's when decentralization by itself is is very fun topic. It's it's basically breaking every unneeded rule, and well, sometimes yes, sometimes it can be misused or abused, but of course, well, it all depends what kind of people are behind the technology, and that's, I believe, finally we'll come to something good. And we are already coming to something good. Well, in case of NFT space that we're trying to conquer here, to work with. NFTs are not well. The beautiful part about NFTs, they're not only about making some money, which is basically tempting your greed, but it's calling to other emotions, like admiring some pieces of art, or just having fun playing games. This is what NFT space is about. So I think finally, when we have Web3 as a decentralized web, we'll have we have some very nice well, very nice well, I would say very nice world, having everybody control their own data.
Yeah. And NFTs, so I just looked at a video what was taken in 2018, and there was someone mentioning that at some point in time we will even see art on the blockchain, which I felt very early, and at that point in time I have never heard about NFT. When did you first get across NFTs? And I think for you it was Polkadot you kind of discovered as something that's suitable for NFTs.
Yes, of course. It's well, first time I got to NFTs was a little bit before then. We built an algorithm that discovers CryptoKitty price. All right. Just based on, because there are very many CryptoKitties, more than 1 million or 2 millions. So, but Polkadot is a very new, very evolving and active space right now. This is where we came initially to. Well, we first we received 5 grants from Polkadot, and only number 5 was about NFTs. This is where we decided to take our niche in this and work on NFTs.
And that started with CryptoKitties.
Yeah, we started with that machine learning algorithm that that we trained to recognize to calculate the price, and I must say it was pretty good, especially if you were buying the bulk amounts of CryptoKitties.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, again, it's more about games than making profit for normal people. It should be more about other features, not just making profit. So that's why we're trying to build the ultimate NFT ecosystem for Polkadot by bringing regular users into it. So by regular users, I mean not necessarily crypto enthusiasts,
Yeah.
because crypto space right now is filled with very experienced people. Many of them run well, know what is crypto wallet. They know how to use well, the crypto exchange. But normal users wouldn't necessarily know that. They used to use Web 2
Yeah.
when they open browser, use a web page, and Web 2 is in a very good shape. Well, it reached that state when they can be very user friendly, and I like modern designs. And I like how most of the websites work. It's much friendlier than, I would even say, 10 or especially 20 years ago. And that's what we want to achieve with Unique, is to create space where people can use Web3 application, decentralized applications, without having any or much previous knowledge. It should be very transparent.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Before we move into it, you mentioned that NFT, from your point of view, is not only or not mainly about making money. However, that's how NFTs got their attractiveness, because people raised lots of money for selling some digital art in the NFT format. For you, is that the future, or is this will this in the future be the main application for NFTs, or where do you see the most potential for this to be applied in a way where it helps to bring forward democracy, data ownership of the individual, these kind of values that might be more relevant than just money?
Okay, yeah. Well, certainly the making money again is not the first application of, and it should never be the first, the primary reason for people to deal with NFTs, to buy NFTs. I would say well, the world is very diverse. It's not that we can build a model of it. It's well, well, many philosophers tried to do that, but I think all of them failed, more or less. But we're trying to repeat that mistake. We're trying to build the model of the world. So by NFT can represent any unique object in the universe. It can be, or well, let's start small. It can represent any small object on the planet. It can be collectible item, a diamond, or it can be a piece of real estate, which is also unique, always unique.
Yeah.
And we can create any sort of relationships between these pieces, and that's what we're trying to do. By the way, the Canaria application that many people might be aware of this. The canaries, they can hold things now, which means one NFT owns another NFT. That's where it comes to gaming.
Yeah.
And when we can have this kind of complex relationships or complex structures built of NFTs, we can basically build anything, we can model anything that happens in the world. That's why I'm not even trying to limit the capabilities to some particular application, or maybe some particular domain of applications.
Yeah.
It's basically everything. It can be real estate, it can be government registries, or maybe yes, of course, it can be art and collections, and of course gaming. So yeah, we start with gaming and art. This is probably the most fun parts for
I mean,
NFTs.
that's amazing, because I don't know whether that's true, but many people claim that the success of the internet in the very early beginning was driven by porn, because people wanted to see naked and they could have access to something they hadn't seen before. I don't know whether that holds true, but if it was, it's interesting to see that something. Well, I would not put gaming and porn into one door. Sorry for, but it needs something that makes a new technology interesting to test it out before then a second wave comes up that makes it a usable tool for day-to-day life. I would propose, because our message to our audience was today, we will show you how you can create your own NFT collection in 30 minutes. And I wanted to avoid that we run out of time regarding this 30 minutes. I think I hand over to you and give us a flavor on how it works and what Unique has developed so far. And please, all attendees, actively use the chat or the Q&A function if you have questions or remarks, so that we can do it in an interactive way. I think you can share your screen if you like to, yeah.
All right, yes, thank you. Can you see my my slides?
Yes.
Great. I'll show a little bit. I'm using these slides. I'm good. I'll be happy to share them later, but I show them mainly to show some links, because many of them are useful. Yeah, here's our website, just in case if nobody's seen this before. So it's Unique Network. By the way, we're running the crowd loan in a couple of days, so you're welcome to participate. And I'll show what what it takes to create NFT collections. As an example, I'm going to use the Substrapunks or Celebricks like collections, the ones that are automatically generated. We draw image parts and we combine these parts out of several. We combine NFT out of several image parts, so that the algorithm really decides how the final set of NFTs is going to look like. I'm talking about the collections that are 10,000 or maybe 1,000 NFTs, or maybe even more, like 1 million NFTs. So of course, this is all applicable to small collections as well. If you don't have to automatically generate images, you can just draw them and then use the same steps to, even less steps to create your own collection. I really count on a little bit of technical skills here. Mainly, it's ability to use command line in Ubuntu. If you can use command line in Ubuntu, you'll be fine. Okay. We need Node.js.
I mean, that's not the ultimate rollout, right? Because you mentioned that you want to make it accessible for everybody who's used to using a browser. And
yes. I mean, for the end user, yes, but not all end users need to. Well, the end users are going to use the application. In order to create the application, yeah, of course, we need a little more skills. I'm showing a little bit on the next step, how to create NFTs and maybe some of it, some application on top of them. But yeah, you got me on this.
good.
So you need Node.js. It's all easy to Google, by the way. These are easy requirements, prerequisites to have. It's not any of the advanced skills. You don't need to be an engineer for that. But yes, you need to be comfortable with command line. Node.js, image editor of your choice. I was very lucky to have an image or actually graphics designer in our team. I didn't have to design that. You don't want to see what I design if you well, if you design it, if I design it. And Git is the last thing we need to use, but you don't need to know Git, you just need to have it installed.
Okay.
And that's all. So I mean, that's all we need, and now we can just get hands dirty and build something. All we need to do is clone this NFT workshop repository from Unique Network organization on GitHub and follow the README. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I already pre-cloned it, so I have it in this folder here. And I'm going to follow this this tutorial. First thing we do is design some image parts. Well, we try to have fun with my designer, and he designed these faces. Actually, he found them, I think, and maybe modified somehow. So these guys, we call them workaholics. So this is how they are made. We have a background image, some eyes, brows, nose, hair, and smile, and when we combine them, just like layers in Photoshop, except I have a library for that. So we don't need Photoshop, we just use library. But when they are combined, you see this face. We save them in particular folder with particular name, and this text actually explains how to do that, but it's really simple. If we have several, I'll show you, I'd better show you the folder and how this works. So here my images. I have 3 brows, and I name them brow 1, brow 2, brow 3, 3 type of eyes, and so on. So I just give them number. And that's all. That's all for design. It's not that complex. The next thing is we need to describe NFT traits. And again, well, it may look scary because we need to edit the code, but it's not that much of code after all. It's just several lines, and all we do is we put the file prefix here. You see, I have files that are named like i.1.png and so on, brow.1.png, 1, 2, 3, and so on. I have file prefixes here. Why I need to refer to files here is that's because my library that combines images needs to know how to find them. That's all. Here I put the count, number of images. Here I have true or false flag required. So, well, in that case, they're all required because we don't have people with that eyes, brows. We don't want to have them in this collection. And attribute names is something. It's an important part. That's how they appear in the wallet finally, because they don't appear as like I1. They appear with good human readable name, normal eyes, or tired eyes, or bruised eyes. So that's pretty all for. I think it's the greatest amount of coding we need to do here. Then we need to prepare substrate address with seed. And again, that's, well, for now, this part is unavoidable. Whatever decentralized application you use, you probably will have to deal with seeds and addresses, because that's how Web3 works right now. People are in charge of their data. That means they need to handle to store their private keys by their own. And that tool, this tool, Polka.js extension, browser extension, helps you store the keys in your browser very securely. I have here these 3 links that explain how to install the extension, how to get the admin address, create the address, and how to get some test tokens from Unique Telegram bot. I'm not gonna show this in details because, well, it's pretty common information, and these links explain this really well. Well, you don't need me to repeat this. So, but after you just do the step 3, you're gonna have the extension install. You're gonna have some addresses here, or maybe at least one. All we need is one, and you're gonna have some balance on that address. Just make sure you save the seed phrase for the address, because we're gonna need it later, and it's generally a good idea to write it down on paper. And so the next step would be configuring that seed in the config file. The config file doesn't exist in the repository. We only have a config example, but if you, and it contains the same thing the config file should have. Just copy it and you'll have the config file. And here's my config file. I didn't want to compromise my owner seed for that address, so that I commented it out here for Alice, and I put it way down below there, so you don't see it, but it's there, believe me. So we have owner seed, comma, I'm sorry, colon, and the real seed, 12 words. That's all you need to do for this part. Just one line of coding. And now really the fun part, NFT properties. We generate the NFT properties. Before I do this, I'm gonna delete this generated NFTs folder, because I have some old data in there. And I'm gonna run, I already ran this before, this line. So I'm gonna only need to run the second file, the second line, I'm sorry. Node space NFT generator. It will execute the script. And by the way, it shows me how many combinations we have in total, possible combinations. It's 405 combinations. If we take all these images and combine in all possible combinations with each other. Generally, the good idea is to not require that many in your collection. Like, for example, in Celebrix collection, we had 90 million possible combinations and only generated 10,000. It creates nice diversity. It shows you a little bit more diverse images. It's more fun, basically, because we're not gonna play the game, spot the difference. If you see two different NFTs, you're gonna notice they are different. We don't want to have just subtle differences between them. But in this case, in
theory, you could create two NFTs which have the same picture. However,
yes.
Wouldn't make sense because you want them to be unique, but you can have an addition of one picture that has 20 or whatever. And of course, I would assume this is possible.
Certainly, yes. Yep. And that's what ACG did yesterday in their on their presentation, on their event. They created 30 images and out of 3 pictures. I'm sorry, 30 NFTs out of 3 images.
Yeah.
So, yep, 10 copies of each. Exactly, yes. In the blockchain, they're all going to be different anyway. Because they have different IDs, we built the blockchain so that it's well, and that's, by the way, the same thing that's ERC20 standard does. I'm sorry, ERC721 standard does in Ethereum. When you generate 2 NFTs, it gives them different IDs.
Yeah.
NFT 1234, NFT 1235, and so on. So even exactly, even if they have identical images, they're still different NFTs. They're still unique. Yeah, that's an excellent note. Okay, so in this config file, I have this line desired count. I put it only to 20 because that's all I want to have. I see generated NFTs. It created this folder, and inside it created these 2 files, NFTs, which has an array of arrays. Well, when you see these 2 square brackets opening and closing, it means it's array in JavaScript, and or in JSON, that doesn't matter, in JSON format. And each small array inside represents 1 NFT. They are all unique. They're all unique. You see, if you can check if you compare these sequences, they're all different. What it means, it's basically referring to the number of attribute in that array. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 1. Let's see what it means. 1 in the first placeholder means regular head. 2 here for eyes means tired eyes. 1 in brow means thick brows, and so on. So we have it basically codes what how NFT is going to look like, and it codes its properties.
Yeah.
Very,
Has it already created the pictures, the picture files? No.
Oh, not yet, not yet. It's going to be the next thing,
Right.
and it's going to be the next step 6. I didn't talk about the schema file, but we really don't need to talk about this. It's a schema that's later will be saved on chain, and it will tell the wallets how to treat our collection. So we don't even need to look at this, but we will anyway. So that's some kind of code, automatically generated code that tells the browser, or not browser, the wallet, how to name this different properties. And by the way, we support translations here. If you want different language here, you can put instead of English, you can put anything else here, or you can even have translations, multiple languages here.
Okay.
Very convenient. Okay, and yeah, now that's where it's coming. It's very next step. You're right on spot. We have this step will generate images for us. This tells you what to do if you use different images. I'll show you. It's in create image generator script. We have this line here, line 28. It says offset. If you change the image width, you need to change this as well, because it will tell where to basically put different parts on top of the previous layers. Basically, how to offset eyes comparing to the face, how to offset nose, and so on. So in this case, I have the same offset for all of them, because they have all the same width, 1706.
Okay.
So and that's all. I need to run the image generator now. Let's do it. See, it takes these parts. Oh, I'm sorry. This code. It 1, 2, 1, 2, 0. It shows what it means. Regular head, eyes, and it saves image. Let's see what it does. Generated NFTs. You see, it generates images. Okay, here's our guy. Here's another one and another one. They're all different. So here are our nice workaholics. Okay. We generated all 20. And now, well, the fun part is to host them somewhere. I'm saying fun not to scare you. But hosting is something that I usually trust it to my IT administrator or DevOps engineer. Even though I know how to do this, but they're doing it better. But in this case, I'll show you how to do it locally. Here's the instructions. I put the instructions how to install IPFS locally. It's not that difficult. So I already did point 1 and 2, and all I need to do here is IPFS add generated NFTs. And I already pre-ran it previously on the previous set. You see, I have it here, generated NFTs, and then I start IPFS daemon so that I can see the images online. Well, in that case, they're hosted on my computer. Let's see if that really works. All I need to do, well, you see it outputs a lot of data. All I need is this line, the last line, which is the hash IPFS hash for generated NFTs folder. If you've ever dealt with IPFS, you certainly know what I'm talking about, because it's really simple stuff. IPFS, and let's see. I'm going to open image 1. There you go. That's my guy. Okay. IPFS hosting is over, and it was really the most complex part for me. But again, it's not that scary. And now the very, very core task here, step, is creating collection on chain. I have everything prepared for that. I have my address. I have some balance on that address of my test token. So all I need to do is give the collection a name, token prefix and tell it where to find images. I'll show you how to do this all very. Here's my file that's called create collection, and naming is done in this create collection method. I give it a name, NFT workshop, and give it description, NFT workshop collection. You can give it longer descriptions as well. It's fine. It can handle up to 256 characters. No, don't go for too long, because this is something we display in the wallet. The wallet will show it to users.
All right.
Yep, and the token prefix is something I'll show you on example. Here's the Unique Network NFT marketplace. If you open it, you see this Chillabricks and punks. Each one has, well, Chillabricks have prefix chell, and punks have prefix p and k. That's something, some short sequence of characters that gives basic idea what kind of collection this is. Basically, that's a token symbol. All right, so we'll give it WRA for workaholics, and that's all. And one more line is that we need to configure here is that hash for the NFT images.
Yeah.
Well, for the IPFS have for the folder that holds NFT images. Why we need a folder here? You see, because I have these bunch of these guys. I have an IPFS hash for every image, but I'm going to use this one for folder because I want a save space on chain. I don't want to create save hash for every individual token. That's going to waste a lot of space on chain, and blockchain space is very expensive. Well, it's not expensive on Unique because we are trying to keep fees reasonable, but at the same time, we know that things can happen. We're going to keep it reasonable, but we don't want to waste space anyway. So that's why we create this one single record, which tells us how to find NFT image by replacing one single number. Imagine if there's a million of NFTs. We save a lot of space here because we just save one line of text, one URL, and it's good for all million of NFTs. So that's why we use folder hash here.
So once again, for me to understand, this is the hash for the entire folder with the 20 NFTs. Even though each individual NFT would have an individual hash as well.
Yeah. Well, they are not. We're not using these hashes at all. These are just IPFS hashes, because IPFS gives you the hash for every file it stores, and every folder it stores. I can show you what it means here. If you localhost, if you open it here, instead of image file, I'm going to open the folder. You see all files are here, and you see these hashes here as well. So the IPFS is not going to hide these hashes. You'll be able to find them by this hash.
Yeah.
So basically, if you know this, you automatically know all of these.
Right. Okay.
So that gives us kind of authenticity for the images. Okay. Now where was I? Okay. So I was creating collection. Okay, let's run it. This is the most important probably piece. I'm gonna execute the Node.js script for creating collection and watch the output. Okay. The first transaction is going now. It's creating collection. It's already coded. You can just enjoy watching it as much as people can enjoy watching terminal. And we see it's mining. Soon it will display the collection ID. All right, this is the most important line. Collection 227, that's our collection. And now it's doing the...
Sorry, the 227 is what?
Yeah, the 227 is the ID of our collection. It's the basically unique ID for collection. Because in Unique, we number everything sequentially. We number collections and we number tokens inside of these collections.
And the total
Because
number of, is this a test application? No, it's a total number of collections that have been created on Unique is in fact only 227.
Yeah, that's and that's test network. We are not we don't have a live network yet.
Right.
So
Okay.
we out of 227, there's only a handful of collections that we're gonna port to the mainnet when we launch it in November, or hopefully in November if our crowd sale goes well, crowd loan. I'm sorry. So if Polka Kusama just opened crowd loans today, actually today it's about 7 in the morning UTC time. So if it goes well, we are opening on Wednesday, so that means we're getting our slot in Kusama, and that means we're gonna launch our net, our main net finally. So we've been preparing for this for longer than a year. So finally, maybe we'll make it there. But this is only testnet. This is only testnet, and for especially valuable collections, we make a promise that we convert them to, we port them to the mainnet, like for example these Celebrix and Substrapunks, and a couple of other collections too. So yeah, you're right. So there are 227. Many of them were burned because they were test collections, like this one. So 227 is the number that needs to go here, 227. And I'll show in a minute why. Because here, sorry, here I create a collection, and next thing to do is mint NFTs. This is the last but not least piece of blockchain execution here. So we configure in this line, we tell the script what collection ID to use, 227. And that's all we need to do here. We can execute this script now that creates NFTs on chain. Okay, so number one is started. Now, here's what it does. It shows the attributes, 1, 2, 1, 2 for 1. It shows how they convert to traits. This is how people call usually properties of NFT traits. Here's we show how we store them on chain. You see, we save space because we use that protobuffer schema file that I showed you in the beginning. We only save 8 bytes per NFT instead of having this long text that says regular head, tired eyes, and so on. So we save space. And okay, so we mint NFT and it's ready. And actually, while I was talking, we already minted a whole bunch of them, 9. Okay. What you can do with these? Well, in a little bit of I think sometime this week we're going to release the update for the wallet, so that it shows your collections for your address that you own. But right now it doesn't know about these collections, and it only knows about these 3: Substrapunk, Celebrix, and Digital Art for Climate, the UN collection. But it's gonna automatically pick up collections that you own on this address and show them here. Because right now I can't really demonstrate this. I used a different way, but some people may find it useful, because this is really exciting part. This is how you put up the marketplace and can sell your NFTs. So basically, you can mint the collection, and then you can put up a marketplace to sell them. Again, I would really recommend playing with this on your local computer, but at the same time, if you want to run it in production, like host a website which will point to this marketplace. You have domain name, certificates, hosting setup. use some professional guys like DevOps engineers or IT administrators who know how to set this up. This is there's nothing blockchain related for them. It's really easy. You just tell them, here's my local setup. Just make do whatever you need to do so that people in the world can see the same thing. And they usually understand this task very well. In my case, I already pre-ran it. Let me see if Minden is over. Yeah, we have all 20 of them. And okay, I have the collection here. So here are my guys. I can, yeah, these look very similar because we have not so many diverse, but they're all different. You see, this has a normal smile, this has smirk. Okay, here's my wallet, and here are my NFTs. And if I wanna, actually, well, I cheated a little bit. I already had this collection as marketplace, so that I don't need to set it up. So I even listed one for sale for 11 kusamas, and I have it for slightly larger, greater price because we have commission on the marketplace, and you can have commission as well. We actually welcome it because even though we develop a white label suite for running marketplaces, we welcome competition in this space because it's we'd like to attract as many users as possible to the blockchain. Okay, you see, if I had enough balance, I would be able to buy it. Okay, that's even more than I wanted to show.
Cool, it's 30 minutes. We already have a few questions in the chat, and maybe we address them before we go on. Sorry, I have to switch on the light.
All right.
So there's one question. So you demonstrated creating the PNGs files before minting the NFTs, but the first question is when you you can also upload a picture, a PNG or a JPEG from a real existing painting, for example, that was digitized with a camera, and then create an NFT out of it. I think that's pretty clear. Is there, I would assume that these files are relatively small. If I wanted to have a high definition file that should be used as an NFT, are there any restrictions, or is there a cost attached to it?
Yeah, this question is right on spot. It's there's no cost because we're not storing them on chain. So you can have any file size, any format. The most important thing is to have your front end handle this. So our marketplace, for example, it can only handle pictures for now, but it's only up to front-end developers, web developers, to handle anything else. Like they can handle 3D models if they wanted to, videos, audio, with cover images, everything. So technically there is no limitation and there is no price, except for current limitations that we have. Just for now, I would recommend having some lower resolution images, which are, by the way, they will be possible to replace later. What I recommend to do is creating your collection with high resolution images and leave them. What you can do is even put in the properties of that NFT, you can put the hash of these images so that people can verify them later. If they purchase the NFT, they calculate hash of the image and they see that the same thing is recorded in the NFT properties. That's why this is important. Well, this proves that they own, or they are looking at the same image they purchased NFT for.
This is something people most often don't fully understand. So saying, if my picture, the digital image I'm buying, for example, as the owner of an NFT, is not stored on the blockchain, how can I be sure that the picture is not deleted or for whatever reason gone away, and I'm just having the hash, which is worthless without the file. I can unhash.
Right, right. Well, for making sure that image is not deleted and making sure the image is authentic, these are basically two different questions, two different problems to solve. In blockchain, we can address the authenticity, especially because we can store, just like I said, we can store hash, and that can help us verify that you're looking at exactly the same image that NFT was created for. But it doesn't really answer the question of availability, because you want to make sure the file is available. That's that's really up to the application developers how to handle this. I can recommend using some file storage that also guarantees availability, like Filecoin. Filecoin do guarantee availability and authenticity of the image. You can also just download the image. After all, it's not downloading is not does not it's not stealing, it's not copying. You're making sure the file is available to you. And if you give it to other person, you still can keep it to remember that you had it before.
Right. So there's a few more questions in the chat, but one being, why do new marketplaces take such a long time to go live? Is it funding issues? Is it limited developers available worldwide to do what needs to be done? Or is debugging the platform just taking so long? What was the largest
probably native means new marketplaces for on Unique platform, maybe, or
No, I think the question is just related to developing Unique. And
okay. Yeah, it's well, it's the greatest reason is probably because it's not that simple. It's still we're trying to make things simpler as much as possible, but we start with the probably most technologically advanced ecosystem so far, because Parity designed something very, very complex. They didn't try to do a simple thing. So we're trying to simplify things, but we start from very complex. So that's where we stand right now. But we just recently, I'm going to post a link to our guide how to set up marketplace. It simplifies things a lot. This guide, it says how to start a marketplace using unique open source tools. Hopefully this is gonna make life a little easier. But we are seeing the marketplaces pop. Like ACG just started their marketplace and it works. Actually, they had 20 sales yesterday.
All right, cool. There's another question. What's the difference between your platform and OpenSea? And maybe you can just describe a little bit the functionalities, which is part of your value proposition, and what are the pieces OpenSea is offering.
Yeah, if you if we use that comparison, so if we're looking at OpenSea, we're not trying to replace them. We are in that association, we're more likely to be Ethereum than OpenSea. So, and the marketplace is just the open source tool for other people to build other marketplaces. OpenSea, by the way, just started the activity of multi-chain or interchain cooperation. They allow you to create NFTs on Polygon, on Ethereum, and I think they have some other option. I don't exactly recall which one. So our ambition is to be the next option for them.
All right. So your solution is working only on Polkadot, right?
Well, we're running our own chain. This is Polkadot is the relay chain, and Kusama are the relay chains to collect together the other parrot chains, and we're shooting to be one of the parrot chains in that ecosystem. So yeah, so our solution will run on, well, the marketplace will run on Unique only, but instead, well, we open all possible doors for interchain cooperation, interoperability. We will bring bridges and whatnot to.
So your business model is that you generate some white label solution for people that want to create and sell NFTs.
Or
not?
Sorry. Yeah. The business model is very simple. We're going to live on transactions. The transactions that because we're a blockchain, we can attract other applications to run on our blockchain, and because applications, well, basically run transactions. All transactions are paid in every blockchain. Like in Ethereum, miners make money on, well, they're not only making money on transactions. Mainly, they're mining blocks and getting the block rewards. But soon, especially in Bitcoin, soon the last Bitcoin will be mined, and all Bitcoin will be all miners in Bitcoin will be paid by the transaction fees. Yeah, thank you. And that's ultimately what we're going to with our chain as well.
All right. So another question is, what is the price in US dollars approximately to create an NFT or even a collection on your platform and marketplace?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very small comparing to what it is on OpenSea today. It's we set a flat fee of creating collection to 100 uniques, and then you need a few more uniques to run all the rest of transactions. That comes to probably about well, at the current capitalization, it's probably I would say what's about $20 or something.
Per NFT or per collection?
Oh, per collection. Right. So it's
collection can include as many individual NFTs as I like to, or?
Oh yeah. It's there's virtually no limit. Of course, the more NFTs you mint, the more the more fees it will cost. But the fees are not so great. We have probably 0.2 fee per token. It's equal to what's 4 cents.
All right. So you mentioned the unique token, which is required to buy or to sell. Did you, or are you financing? Is there a tokenomic system behind it, which uses the unique token, or how does it work? The commercial.
Yeah. It's thank you for asking. It's I meant to talk about this. Yeah, when we launch the mainnet, yeah, of course there will be tokenomics, because we need to make sure, well, we survive as a network. But one of the greatest features for us is to sponsor user transactions. We can allow the application developers to pay for their users transactions. That means they can charge their accounts with a little bit of unique and say, okay, I'm sponsoring my transaction transfers, and every transfer that like for example on our marketplace, if you use it, you may notice that you don't really need uniques. It never asks you to have any uniques, because every transaction is sponsored. We still show unique balance, but ultimately the decentralized applications won't even need to do that. We call it economic models, because ultimately every decentralized app will know how to monetize. That means they don't need that friction that comes between them and their users. They can allow their users to use their apps, their app or their website frictionlessly, or without this without necessarily the users having to go to the market to the crypto exchange, buy unique tokens and create private keys or handle addresses. Only they need the users to create private keys only to do some important things or to do some irreversible things. That then, yeah, if we're talking about the user data, when users are in control for their data, yeah, we would certainly want the users to have the to save the key, but not for small stuff that creates friction.
All right. There are a few more questions. So when could we expect to see Unique on mainnet? I think you mentioned something like November, or
Yeah. We really hope for the end of November. It's it all depends on the how the crowd loan goes.
all right. Another question: do you participate in the reselling of the created NFTs, or just one time when it's sold in the beginning? Is there a difference between the initial sale and later transfers?
Yeah, well, technically NFT cannot drive or cannot control what happens or what happens with the fees. So because there has been some discussion online about the royalties. And royalties are the responsibility of the marketplace, but it cannot be made the responsibility of the NFT itself. But because it's really easy to hack. It's when NFT is transferred, it doesn't really know why it's being transferred between different users. Either it's being purchased or it's gifted to someone. It doesn't know, so that's why it can't really control what happens with the fee. So that's why we decided to well,
Each and every transfer of an NFT later on, after it has been sold initially, will be another transaction on your blockchain, right? And therefore it will generate fees, not?
Oh yes, it will be as soon as and that's when the NFT is transferred between users, it's always a transaction. Yes, because we change the state of chain. Yes, it involves some fees, but again, these fees can be sponsored by the application owner, and these are genuine transfers between users. So the users get in full control on this NFT with their private key.
Right.
So they
Just for me to understand it better, it's a solution you are offering as open source. Is on the one hand side, I mean, you told us how to create PNGs, which is something everyone can do individually. Then the next step or module is creating the hashes and the NFTs, and then putting them on a marketplace. Theoretically, someone could just use your code or Unique for creating the NFTs and put them on some other person's marketplace, or would one need to use your marketplace necessarily?
well, there's nothing that can prevent people from trading NFTs elsewhere.
Yeah.
I on my marketplace, I can include any NFTs I would like, as long as they are created on Unique's platform. So it's more of a control of the marketplace than on the marketplace side than control on a unique author's place, because well, genuine ownership of NFT means I can do anything with this piece. I can sell it anywhere I want. I can destroy it. I can give it to someone. The blockchain is built the way our blockchain is built, the way that we can't control how people use their NFTs.
Right. Okay. I think Rina mentioned that you will go on a mainnet as soon as you have won a parachain slot on Kusama. Maybe you can just briefly describe what is needed to win such a slot. And I think you have to have a lot of users that are willing to delegate their Kusama to your parachain, or So I'm not.
Oh, yeah, it's
Something. What exactly is the process, and what needs to be done to get a slot?
Yep, I'll be happy to. Yeah, it's by the way, it's a regular process for every pirate chain that wants to get a slot. They offer their users some reward because the Kusamas are going to be locked for almost a year. It's for 48 weeks.
Yep.
So the opportunity cost is probably about, well, it's 20 or even 30% sometimes. It's it all depends on how we look at the market and how we're going to deal with these Kusamas. But so that reward needs to be considerable. We also offer, yes, we offer reward to every participant.
Irina is just putting it in the. Irina is just putting that in the chat.
Oh, great! Yes, thank you.
Pretty helpful. Good. Let's address a few more questions. Albrecht is asking that many transactions on the blockchain require energy, and he was wondering if bringing an NFT to a new owner or transferring NFTs would have a high energy consumption. Is that true, and is there any potential to minimize that?
Very little. We're very green because Kusama is nominated proof of stake, and it's always been from the block 0, I'm sorry. And because we use Kusama consensus as a basis for our consensus.
Yeah.
We are never doing and never planning to do anything like anything similar to proof of work. That means we're not spending electricity. We're only running on a few servers that are not spinning like crazy. They're mostly idling most of the time. So yeah, we're very green. We're not consuming amount of energy like Switzerland.
Okay. So how many nodes will you usually have, and how safe is the Polkadot system? You have a personal view on that?
Yeah, the Polkadot system has 1,000 validators, which means 1,000 nodes that are constantly online. And pirate chains are supposed to have much less. We're planning to have around 30 collators. The miners are called collators for pirate chains.
Yeah.
Well, that's Polkadot terminology. I didn't make it up.
They will be geographically distributed, or do you don't care, or so what needs?
We'll try to distribute them geographically, yes, to improve user experience.
Yeah.
Because I know Kusama is not quite yet geographically distributed, but it will distribute over time, I believe.
Okay.
So
that's another question which I find quite interesting, that leads into the future. Arvid asking, so many NFT collections are currently the same style, which is true. I think we can say that. And so the question being, what do you see as the next step so that NFTs are taken seriously instead of copy paste another pair of funny heads? Sorry that for being blunt. But I mean. Which I think technologically it's really cool what one can do. However, when does it get serious and commercially interesting, not only for you, but for people that use your services?
Yeah, that's what we are trying to achieve exactly. So by removing these technical barriers and bring in some non-technical people, we believe we can bring real artists to our platforms. To not exactly our platform, but to the platforms that are powered by Unique. So there are going to be marketplaces and galleries that are powered by Unique, and because we give this capability to remove the barriers, we hope to attract people who are not so technically advanced, but they are advanced in many other skills, and especially artists. So, but they don't have to be artists. They can be game developers and everybody who can produce really interesting content.
But that would be your first vision of real life. So would these artists create something new only to be sold as an NFT? Or would you imagine that an artist would even take a picture he has drawn 2 years ago and now take a digital twin of that picture or whatever, and then create an NFT out of it and try to sell it like we have seen in the physical past, that people would create an original and then they would sell 100 copies of that as a lithography is a German expression for that. What is the most likely? Because I mean, many people tend to say, well, it's fun to have these digitally generated pictures, but that's not the real, what I assume is art.
Yeah, this is different types of art. But have you heard of Burning Man event in the US?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a good example of well, where we can digitize something that doesn't exist anymore, or actually digitize it while it exists, and then they burn it, and who knows what happens with digital copies of them. We may also burn them. So yeah, I think it's different type of art. And we have place for both and many more.
Briefly, because many people say NFTs will be the place for marketing digital unique pieces of art. Apart from art, do you see any other application areas? Will it be for patents, or will it be for tickets to access something, or will it be for memorable events, or what can you imagine might be another application? I asked this earlier, but I think this is still one of the questions many of us share, to say, okay, what else can we put into an NFT? And
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, one. I'm glad you mentioned patents, because yes, you can very well protect any digitizable piece of information if you if you can look at the image or calculate the hash of that image. We have a timestamp on every created NFT, so whoever created that image first, they can consider themselves as an author.
Evidence that it was them to create it at a particular point in time. That's true.
Yep.
And,
Yep, exactly. So we already spoken with companies who work on legalizing transactions. They make your transactions to have legal force. And by the way, there's a great company in Germany called Neufund. They did it for financial space. They created they made the transactions appear on a legal space. The good application would be, another good application would be, for example, real estate, because we can create structures of NFTs. The neighborhood that has houses that have rooms, everything can be individually owned. And well, there is a nice application for that in the United States. It's called timeshare. We can create a refundable token out of a house and share it if it had a legal agreement equal to having the RFTs, refundable tokens. We could share the ownership of a NFT or RFT, and that represents a house, for example.
okay, cool. There's one other technical question, and then I think we come to the end of today's session, asking, will Unique exist on KSM mainnet and not on DOT?
Well, we are going to be attached to both. Well, that's our plan. We would like to be parachains on both.
Yeah.
DOT just started their crowd launch, so we'll see where they go. Well, they didn't start them; they scheduled them for the middle of December. We'll see where they go, but that's our plan, to be on both.
All right. So if there's someone in the audience who would like to support, to help, to participate in your project, you are still open for people that join the project by well, bonding Kusama, right?
Oh yes, certainly. And we run our well, Irina can correct me if I'm wrong, but we run the ambassador program as well.
Okay, Cool. For me, it was quite interesting and pretty exciting to learn so much. If you agree, we would put this webinar on our YouTube channel so that people can look at it afterwards. And I think everybody who needs more information will find whatever he needs either in your GitHub or someone is asking a few more words about the ambassador program. Maybe you have this short slot on how the ambassador works. And Irina responded. So Irina is so fast. Irina, you're great. Responded and giving the link to it. I think that was helpful. We are at 8:15, which is our end of deadline for our usual sessions. Greg, thank you very much. That was pretty cool, pretty interesting, and helpful to get better understanding. And I do believe that I mentioned earlier that NFT for me is the forefront of blockchain developers, and what you're doing is kind of the topping on the forefront somehow, and was helpful. Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to understand in real basic lines how it works and how easy it can be.
Yep, I hope it's going to be easy for everyone. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me and for staying over time with me.
Great. Okay. Yep. Thank you, everybody, and looking forward to seeing you next Monday, hopefully for our next Blockchain Monday. And choose all the best in Moscow.
Thanks.